What's going on, guys? Sleeveless Mike of Raw Dog Sports. I am back for day 17 of these mock drafts. That means we are on to the Lions because they are the 17th pick in this draft. And they got some needs on both sides of that line. Their offensive line was in shambles with the Ragnow and now Decker being released, and they could use a lot of help over on that defensive side, in my opinion, specifically on that defensive line, helping Aiden Hutchinson out a little bit, giving them some pass rush help. But guys, if you have been tuning into these, thank you very much. I appreciate you. If you wouldn't mind, while you're here, hit the subscribe button down below. It would mean a lot to me and to everybody associated with the No Sleeves Network. But with that, I don't want to take too long. Let's get into the mock. We got the 17th pick, Lions, 7 rounds, PFF big board, and all of this stuff is going to stay the same. I don't know how long PFF is going to be around, given the news with them being sold. So let's hope we make it through all these mock drafts with PFF big board, and we'll see what happens in future years. But let's get this draft started. All right. So I hate the way the board fell. Tackle is a huge need, obviously. Blake Miller right here, right tackle. Taylor Decker, right tackle, 6'6", 315. I mean, this seems like a really natural fit. I feel like it's high to take him. But when you look at what is here, what's available, you really like the safety group for the Lions, or at least I do. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch. So I'm not thinking of Danneman. I mean, another receiver, I guess, would be a fun problem to have. Akeem Mesidor, a possibility. The arm length worries me with Akeem Mesidor. I mean, the production was through the roof, though. I mean, and the age, 25 years old. Ugh. I mean, at this point, that could be a good spot. 20 is what his rank is. 17. I guess his arms aren't super short. He's just 25. Ugh. Man. Now it gets down to which of these guys do I like more, Mesidor or Blake Miller. And Miller feels like we were talking about it on Raw Dog Sports, that, kind of feels like the forgotten tackle. We're not doing any trades. Nah, so nothing there. Oh, wrong thing. So Blake Miller, Evil likes Blake. Like he said, he kind of seems like a forgotten guy. We're going to go with Blake. Blake Miller right here, right tackle at 17. Feels like a little bit of a high spot, but the need is obviously there. Now back on the board. D-line, linebacker. I got Gabe Jockus right here at the edge. That seems like, oh, man. So I like this. Like, we were just talking about it before we actually got into the mock, that needing that additional pass rush help to help Aiden Hutchinson not feel so much pressure would be huge. Jockus' profiles as a 4-3 D end, and I feel like this would be a pretty good spot for him. You're not really overdrafting. The board has not gone your way in terms of maybe some other things. I think this is the right play here. We're going to go Gabe Jockus at 50. And then moving on to 118, long way down the board. Oh, boy. Landon Robinson sitting right here. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that could be a crazy penetrating 3-tech. You put him next to Aiden Hutchinson. That is just as good as maybe finding a guy opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Let's go with a Landon Robinson right here and really bolster that defense for the Lions. Now I got to get a linebacker. I feel like that linebacker room is super, super thin. I got Bocher sitting right here, a guy that I have talked about in the past. I like him. He finds the ball and attacks. Good tackler. The athleticism might not be the highest, but at this point, I think this is a great spot to take him, and it helps fill out the depth behind the guys that the Lions did bring in, which we'll talk about here in just a second. All right, moving on to that pick 157. But before we do, let's talk about some of the free agency moves that the Lions have made. They go out and they sign Isaiah Pacheco to kind of replace David Montgomery. I don't know how much I love that or that's a true replacement for David Montgomery, but obviously much younger. Cade Mays comes over, and he's getting a 3-year deal. So we talked about the Ragnow retirement, and then he tries to come back, and it was not very good. So this kind of resets them at that center position. They bring in Teddy Bridgewater to be a backup. Love Teddy. So cool. Larry Borum is more of a swing tackle. And we already kind of addressed tackle earlier. So, okay, we're still good there. Malcolm Rodriguez comes back. Rock Sin is back. Christian Izian, I don't know how you pronounce that name. Safety coming over. I don't know a lot about the dude. On the depth chart right now with his signing, he is... Oh, where is he even at on here? Yeah, he's not on there yet. So there you go. That tells you what you need to know, probably. Tom Kennedy at wide receiver, Tyler Conklin, tight end, Trevor Nowowski, linebacker, Roger McCreary, corner, DJ Wanham, linebacker, Damon Clark, linebacker, Greg Dortch, wide receiver, Peyton Turner, D-end, and Ben Barch at guard. So a lot of these guys are depth signings. DJ Wanham right now slated to start at the opposite defensive end, opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know if that's going to be the case. We've already addressed that edge spot fairly high in this draft. Let's see if we can't make the Lions a little bit better. Let's get back into the draft now that we've kind of gone over what they have done and see some other places that we can go. Oh. Is there another? I mean, Diego Pounds. Nucci. Arucci. You don't want another right tackle. So no, I don't think tackle might. Well, God, that's a lot. Gave up no sacks, 13 hurries, but man, that's a lot of pass snaps. That's a pretty good, and it's not terrible in how many hurries, but the ratings were atrocious for the most part elsewhere. According to PFF, his pass block rating pretty decent. I feel like there's other impact players, though, that are still right here rather than doing something like that. Man, I feel like at this point, you could probably start doubling up. Is there another edge worth taking at this spot? Okay, so listen, I don't hate this. Jacques, really good at rushing the passer, not good at run defense. However, you pair him with a guy like a Caden Curry, who you bring in the same draft, who is really good at run defense and maybe not going to get you a ton of sacks, even though he did this year. I don't know that is indicative of the pass rusher he will be in the NFL by any means. But Caden Curry right here, I think I'm going to do. I know it's a reach. According to the ranks, average draft position is 180. He could probably still be there. But there's nobody else right here that I'm like clamoring for. Let's go out and get. I know that there's a Borkature, but I love Sam Laporta. Like, I don't. Joe Royer, same thing. So for me, I think I'm going to I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a little wild. Overdraft here a bit. PFF is going to hate it, but I'm going to go Caden Curry so I make sure I get another guy that really helps out that defense. Two different types of edges here. All right, now down to 181. You know, Pat Coogan has got some position versatility. Center and guard. I know they bring in Cade Mays. Their guard situation is not terrible, but bringing in quality depth who can play multiple positions at this point, when I don't know that there's a guy right here that I'm excited, like super, let's go get him. Maybe go take a look at the corners. Not really. I mean, man, at this point, let's take one more quick look at the line. Ooh, there we go. Trey Moore sitting right there for us. Can line up off. Ooh, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. No. I don't want to do Harold Perkins either. Not in a 4-3. Gone Blake Miller, Jonkis, London, Bocher, and Curry. Pat Coogan. I'm doing it. I'm going Pat Coogan. A little position versatility in the middle of that line. I mean, center has been a huge problem for them. So let's try to help fix that problem. I'm looking here now. Eli Heidenreich, my dude sitting right there. I don't know that makes a lot of sense, though. Man. I mean, had an incredible combine. I don't think that that's a guy that you draft. Tanner Koziel is huge. He just can't run block. And if you've got Laporta, you don't necessarily need that. I kind of want to help the offense here outside of the line, but I don't know that there's a lot that I want to go with. I mean, Koziel, Heidenreich, but I mean, you got Tesla, you got Williams, you got St. Brown. That wide receiver room is pretty much rounded out. You know what? Let's go for another linebacker here. We're gonna take old Red Murdoch out of Buffalo. Small school guy, but I mean, was incredible for them. I mean, you look at the grades, run defense really good, coverage defense really good. Didn't miss hardly any tackles for, you know, how many attempts that he fucking had to make tackles. 6'1", 240. He's a little lighter, little smaller, modern day linebacker out of Buffalo. Let's take Red Murdoch to help that linebacker room some more. Oh, and I got to scroll all the way down here. Now we're at 213. Very much the same group of guys that were here before. But you know what? At this point, I got an Andre Fuller right here. Let's take a look at the corners. You know, I'm going to go with a Fuller. Toledo, let's get him in the NFL. Let's get him some high-level coaching. And let's see what this kid can do. Because he's got traits. All right. Last pick here for the Lions, 222. Gone Miller, Jackus, Robinson, Betcher, Curry, Coogan, Red Murdoch, and then Andre Fuller. So wrapping this thing up. Now, here is a little muscle hamster that could, 5'9", 205, had a not so great showing at the combine. I don't know that he will get drafted. I mean, there's some other guys. Roman Hemby had a little bit more explosiveness to him. He's a bigger back. Should train him. But I don't feel like any of these guys are guys that get drafted, you know. Right here at the end, we're getting kind of contentious. You know what? Let's go with a Riley Nowakowski guy that can play a little bit tight end, a little bit of fullback. Seems like a Dan Campbell sort of dude, and will help that offense by blocking for Jahmyr Gibbs. So Riley Nowakowski to round this thing out for the Lions. All right, let's take a look at the grades, sports fans. We got Blake Miller, B. Jacques, A-. Landon Robinson, B+. Bocher, B+. Caden Curry, D+. Kind of thought that was going to be the case. I mean, I reached there, right? Talked about it a little bit. Pat Coogan, C. Red Murdoch, B+. Andre Fuller, C. Riley Nowakowski, C. Overall grade of a B in the bottom 39% of Lions drafts. So I don't love being in the bottom 39%, but Lions fans, let me know what you think. Do you like this draft? Do you hate this draft? Where would you have gone first? I obviously went tackle instead of edge. I've seen it mocked a lot of different ways for the Lions. Let me know what you guys think. Where are you hoping the Lions go when this actually comes up April 23rd? So, but guys, thank you very much. Once again, I am Sleeveless Mike of Raw Dog Sports and the No Sleeves Network. Time is the most valuable thing you got. Thanks for spending some time with me. And everybody at the No Sleeves Network appreciates it as well. But I'm going to get out of here. See you.